Okay, the other day we were having a look at this FT897, which this is actually going off to a mate of mine down in VK3, the other end of VK3. He's on the end which have got the 25k limits, and we're hoping tomorrow gets no limits, which would be nice. Wouldn't that be good? Okay, not getting into politics here. If you remember, we had an FC30 tuner. Now, this is the little FC30, which is a great little device, but I've always thought a bit limited in what it can do. Now, I haven't been proven wrong today, but because I still believe that these are a great touch-up tuner, maybe not quite as good as some of the LDG tuners, which I think really do an excellent job. But this one was doing some rather strange things, very, very strange. Was reporting high SWRs and doing really weird things, and I sort of thought, there's got to be more to this. Well, there is, and thank goodness. So just if you've got an FC30 tuner and it's giving you some trouble, 3 screws on this side, 3 screws on this side. What I'd like you to try is, initially, you'll see this section of dip switches here, and they actually have a memory clear, which is paramount to, like a microprocessor reset to a large extent. Keeping in mind these things get lots of variables thrown at them, and I'd say this tuner's had lots of variables thrown at it. Now, with the memory clear, all you've got to do is take the 6 screws out. The 4th switch of S1003, so if we have a look on here, whoops, not very good light here, but S1003 being this fella right here. This is the last video I'll be doing with only one hand. I've just got this new device in. I'm going to have a play with it this afternoon, which makes my life a lot easier. See how we go. Okay, so basically, if you could flick that to on. Now, you do that while the power on the radio is actually switched off. So when you reboot the radio next time, you'll basically have that switch in the on position. So you'll just flick that up that direction towards from there to there. When you turn the radio back off again, then just flick that back again, and you've basically cleared all the many calculations this thing's had to make over a long period of time. And we don't get often a chance to look at how these things work, but as you can see, there's a bit of an LC set up in here. A lot of relays doing a lot of work, making a lot of decisions, to get to that final SWR. So this is basically a very raw impedance match device, which is trying lots of combinations, and I suppose the point is, if what we're going on about here is that it's remembering those, so that next time it doesn't have to calculate it. Next time the CAD interface coming off here says 28490, it basically goes zap. I remember that, I know what this is. Now obviously if it doesn't see the same impedance situation, it goes and does a full redevelop of the memory of that particular frequency. Sometimes I actually believe it might even store 2, which becomes a bit of a problem. But this is going to happen because sometimes you're going to be tuning more than one antenna. But the other thing, excuse me, that you can do on this tuner is that you can, with the switch number 8 here on S1003, you can throw that into the top position with the power off, then turn it on. Now leave it in the top position, and that is actually tuning and peaking the receiver as well. So I suppose I was a little bit interested to see what difference that made. I've got to be honest, I had a little bit of a play with that. Very, very minimal, which would be to be expected. But what we did find is when we went back to, say, tune 28490 here, and we've got the SWR meter in SWR at the moment, and actually I've got the little meter hooked up as well, sorry, and that's probably a better indicator, it's larger. So goes through, has a look at it, chatters away, and then it comes back, and then we'll go to AM and have a little look at what it finally worked out. And look at that, SWR there, beautiful, SWR 1-to-1. I must admit the top meter doesn't agree completely in SWR, and I think that's because it actually doesn't see the meter function change, but because we've got another meter set up, we monitoring as well, we can tell. But yep, beautiful. SWR is just nothing showing there, which is lovely. So look, this was a very simple repair. Initially it was driving me crazy because I it was trying to work, and it was sort of thinking about it and going through this. And I put it aside for quite a while, and I actually just advised Murray, a mate of mine. I said, look, I've got to be honest, I think the LDG tuner's a better tuner. Now, Murray just bought the 897 off me, and that's great, but I tend to try and be as honest as I can. He was wondering about, look, does he buy the tuner as well? And I said to Murray, I said, look, I'm just seeing a couple of things that don't make me completely happy with it. I'm not sure I was ever completely happy with the tuners, although I'm a lot happier today after doing a full reset. I think what happens with these is they get so many calculations built up that they just go into overdrive and they don't know what they're doing. And that's what was happening. We were asking it to do relatively easy things like tune a dummy load, and it was kind of sitting there going, well, I don't know. I was chucking it into this device and getting very, sort of, unless my dummy loads died, I think we're pretty sure that it wasn't making the right calcs. But yes, that's completely sorted itself out now. So, just for the... I suppose we just got to call this video, how to repair an FC30 without doing awfully much. And I've never seen this before. I've got to be honest, it's the first one. Normally they've either just worked or they've been dead. They haven't powered up. They haven't. There's been problems in these regulators, and that's another point too. If you've got a dead one, start having a look through these areas here, start measuring voltages, start having a look. It'll normally be that it's had a bit of a jolt, and it won't be, ideally it's not in this area, and God help you if it's in this area anyway, because throw it away. Don't send it to me. Send it to Guy down at J&B. He'll love you. Just tell him Brenton sent you, and it's a micro fault. You know what? On a serious note, Guy's probably one of the few people as the AC repair agent that has got the ability to pull these things on and off. He's extremely good. So please, Guy's an old Motorola mate of mine, so please support him, because if you've got a Yaesu issue, he is definitely the man. All right, well, so that's just a very quick look at the FC30. The paperwork that comes with it is really good. I mean, this is the basic paperwork, which really does go through everything that I've just explained to you. So it's all there in the paperwork. So if you download FC30 instruction manual, you'll find not just that, but circuits, etc., are all there, which is extremely helpful. As I said, tracking some of this at regulator level. I have a theory with my skills these days. Anything from here forward, maybe here this way, unless it's a crystal, getting hard to change. Not so bad over here. I can change relays and caps and inductors and fans, but we are getting the stage, some of this surface mount stuff, not having a proper rework station. I used to have an infrared rework station, and I'll tell you, you know what? It's a bit like how I own a Bobcat. That doesn't make me a Bobcat driver. Well, owning a rework station doesn't make you an expert on pulling these things in and out, I can tell you. I mucked up a few even with the right equipment. So it's one thing about this area of electronics now. Some of it is getting past us old farts, and we're just having to say, well, hey, we're having a bit of trouble in these areas. The young guys, they're definitely learning the right stuff, no question. So my hat goes off to them. It's my eyesight doesn't even cover it these days. So anyway, all right, all the best. That's the FC30 tuner, how to reset, get it all sort of up and running again. And as you can see, beautiful SWR. That's what we want to see. Nothing. Good stuff. All right, all the best. Cheers. VK3 Charlie Mike, JDW 229. Please subscribe. All the best.